7.5 trillion rubles. That's how much oil and gas revenues went to the federal budget of Russia in the first 8 months of this year. This data is provided by the Minister of Finance of the Russian Federation. The amount is 1.5 times higher than last year's figures and has almost reached the level of the record year 2022. According to the insider, 69% of the planned oil revenues for the year have already been collected, and although the Kremlin does not have enough revenues even for this amount to cover all the expenses that are growing due to the attack on Ukraine, Moscow still has enough money to continue the war.
Даже если мы, соответственно, возьмем хотя бы сейчас.
Even if we take at least 50%, writing off the rest, 20 percentage points to income due to inflation, because inflation accelerates tax revenues to the budget because the prices rise. The value-added tax rate per unit of goods rises. So the higher the inflation, the more VAT income the budget receives. But even if we take 50%, it will be approximately clear that half of Russia's military spending is financed by oil exports.
To circumvent sanctions, Moscow uses the so-called shadow fleet. These vessels hide their routes and the origin of their cargo, often flying the flags of third countries to hide their real owners. However, journalists continue to uncover schemes related to the sale of Russian fuel. Thus, the insider found out that among the buyers of oil bypassing the price ceiling were companies associated with the Latvian citizen Alexei Halyavin. These firms bought about 60 million barrels of Russian crude oil at a price above the established ceiling of $60 per barrel.
One of the largest buyers of above-the-cap Russian oil is Latvian national Alexei Halyavins, who was found to have ties to 3 Dubai-based entities: Black Pearl Energy Trading LLC, which he owned and headed, along with its affiliates OGC Shipping LLC and Conmar Maritime. In 2023, the first 2 companies bought roughly 38 million barrels of oil from Surgutneftegaz at an average above-the-cap price of $82 per barrel. For the period from January to May 2024, customs records show only the activities of Black Pearl Energy Trading, which purchased over 20.6 million barrels of oil at an average price of $83.7 per barrel, from a publication by The Insider. The problem is that third countries remain quite interested in this oil, because as a rule, this oil is much cheaper than that which is formed by the price on the world market.
The Kremlin authorities not only violate Western sanctions, but also pose a threat to the environment. According to Greenpeace, Russia exports oil on obsolete tankers. S&P analysts note that 397 vessels in the shadow fleet are over 16 years old, and most of them are vessels from 16 to 20 years old. Some of them are loaded in the ports of the Leningrad region and St. Petersburg in close proximity to protected natural areas. An accident in the port while passing through the bay can cause irreparable damage to the nature of the region. Greenpeace believes that an environmental disaster in the Baltic Sea is only a matter of time. However, analysts are confident that this potential danger opens up the possibility of tightening control over the transportation of Russian raw materials.
It is more likely that closing the straits will be achieved on environmental grounds, as Denmark plans to do in the Baltic Sea. The International Convention relating to intervention on the high seas in cases of oil pollution casualties allows countries to prevent, mitigate or eliminate grave and imminent danger to their coastline or related interests from pollution or threat of pollution of the sea by oil following upon a maritime casualty or acts related to such a casualty. In other words, a country can prohibit a vessel from entering its waters if it presents the apparent threat of an oil spill, from a publication by The Insider.
Let us remind you that in response to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Western countries imposed sanctions on the Russian economy, including restrictions on oil exports. One of the key measures was the so-called price ceiling on Russian oil, introduced in December 2022. The restrictions also include bans on insurance and transportation of raw materials if the price exceeds the established ceiling. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.